Hi there, welcome back. Today we are going to take a look at this P40 game that I had just a second ago. Now, my interest has kind of been waning in War Thunder, but I'm not quite done yet. I played about 7 days of World of Tanks, and it was on the EU server before changes were applied. I was trying to make some changes before they implemented their new update. And so I got done with that and I went back to World of Tanks on the NA server last night. And I had a lot of problems winning. The matchmaker was really difficult to mess with just because you're always pretty much gonna have to deal with top tiers in every game, which I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to adapt and overcome there, but I'm not sure if I'm quite ready to go back yet. I don't know, but I've still got some premium time on my account, and on War Thunder, so I'm trying to get some games in, at least one a day. And this one turned out pretty good. I'm excited to get a camouflage for this P40. P40 is one of my favorites from back in the day, and I had that classic shark's mouth and just beautiful lines. And I built several models of it when I was a kid, and my dad had a 32nd scale model of it that I absolutely adored. It was one of my favorite builds he ever did. That's why it's so partial to me. And so I like to have some games, especially because they updated the flight model, which I had tried before a few times and it felt pretty good. But the problem is that even though everything had been seemed to be resolved, in this, I don't know if they've implemented more changes because it compresses really hard. In dives, and Toastman was even talking about some roll problems, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I decided to take it out, give it another try to earn one of these camouflages. And I'm climbing pretty steep. It seems to be a pretty good climber. I don't think it should do this, but everybody's talking about wanting to make sure to get to altitude. P40s get to altitude because we're going to need the speed. And I started noticing that everybody's side climbing, except for me and Black Bears, which he's in an automatic platoon with me. And every time on this map, even on low tiers, there is always some action right here. There's always at least a few fighters and some bombers. So I decide to stop climbing, even though I'm the highest one, and go ahead and approach in here. I also see that our TBD got destroyed, or SBD. He dies right there. I'm like, ooh, I better get over there and help these bombers because they're going for the bombers. And so I kind of get away from them, which it doesn't actually turn out to be too profitable, actually. I do get some hits later, but it was definitely a smart choice, I think. If you have your whole team climbing, a lot of times a lot of your low players die really fast. So I like to cover that mid-range area and try to disrupt that and give the low-level people some time. But then I see this and I get a little bit worried because yeah, they've been climbing over here too. So I start climbing again. Looks like they're committed to going and helping their bomber with the Beaufort. The Beaufort, though, it doesn't have front guns. I'm not even sure what he's doing there to the SB2M. I mean, it's got pretty good defensive on it, but I don't know. I find that hard to be a gunship. It's something I need to practice. So I'll start diving as I see this I-16 approach, which he ends up not really wanting anything from me, I guess. I guess he decides to go after that bomber, maybe? Here I'm approaching, and the compression is so bad when I get to this speed. I'm at 642, and my rudder will not move at all. And I'm like, man, I'm glad I didn't climb much more because it's impossible to do anything. They managed to take out our Beaufort there, and I think I might be able to get a deflection shot. I'm not really worried about AAA. I mean, they have nerfed it again. I get a couple hits, but nothing big. And then I don't bother turning with him, which he's turning for me. And here we have Banshee, which is doing a roll, which opens the door for me to get some shots in. Aims off. I get a few more hits in, but to no critical damage. And I have both of them in pursuit, but luckily enough, I don't know if they're not upgraded yet, but I had enough speed, kept my speed high, so they're not going to be able to catch me. I made some comments to my friends there that maybe altitude wasn't the best idea because this P40 it doesn't do good at high speeds, which is fairly accurate, I'm pretty sure. I think that compression was a big problem amongst early warfighters, and they actually worked really hard to overcome that with later models of airplanes. The P38, I heard a story that its main problem was that compressibility in dives is why pilots didn't want to fly that, and they didn't really fix that until the L model, so they had to build up in shallow dives and make sure to attack at high speeds, but they couldn't really dive to attack at all. So here I managed, and I'm still not sure how I gained this much distance on these guys, but I managed to get enough distance to head back toward my allies who are finally coming down from altitude. And as you can see, I've got plenty enough distance on those guys, so I decided to go in and help out my squad mate, Black Bears. I see Enzo has him down there. I didn't really think he was going to make it there, but he does pull out here, so. And I didn't record this live, so it's a replay. Sorry about that. I actually don't have very much confidence in my skills at this point, just because I haven't been playing a whole lot. I think it's actually done me good. I seem to be leading okay, and everything still feels really nice. It seems like this is perfect, because the mountains here, can't really see me approach. He's tunneled on somebody, and then he's got another person to deal with that is diving away. So this is the perfect attack setup here, because he's going to be slow from maneuvering, then he goes into a climb. Best time to attack is when somebody's climbing, their speed's low. And then right there I get the tail crit, and Oxbow can't even snipe that kill. I get the kill. It's like, yeah, man, And these are ground target ammo on my 50 cals. Still, I think when you're not facing Japanese, which you need Omni or Universal against the Japanese because they are more likely to start fires, against anybody else that have decent armor, like Russians or Germans, you want to run ground target. It still seems like that they are the best. And I remember the last action I'd seen was above this bombing point, so I head over here, and I'm a little bit disappointed that my team didn't do that earlier. As you can see, they're kind of just maneuvering. I'm not sure what they're doing, honestly, but I'm getting kind of worried because I thought there was a bomber and two fighters over here, but I guess one of the fighters had went back. And as you can see, there's two dots, one here and one here. Turns out that this is the SB2C, and this is the lag 3. He's got a lot of altitude on me. I was kind of concerned that he would be able to capitalize on that, and it just kept flying straight. I'm not sure if he was trying to cover his bomber buddy or what it was, but that gave me a chance to regain some altitude. So I'm climbing. It's such a beautiful time of dusk or something. I love it when you get these afternoon ones, and the weather's random when you pick these battles, so it was really nice to see. And look, he just keeps going straight. That gives me a chance to get to altitude, get my speed back up, and then he dives, and this is perfect. He dives, and he's diving away, so I will have a chance to get up under him and get my speed back. And then, oddly enough, these guys that were just messing around happen to be going the right way to intercept him, which was so weird. So yeah, here he's just diving for some reason. I still don't know. I've got a little bit of competition here. Maybe bomb. Decided to start trying to get this SB2C to move. I know for sure he bombed. I didn't even see Big Daddy here, but he had shots on me. I guess went for somebody else. I turned back around to get some shots on the SB2, but the lag is right there, and I pilot sniping. And then I get a gunner right there with the bomber. And I do a high yo-yo to try to get back on the bomber, but they just killed me. So since I'm perfectly over here by the runway, I'm going to stop. I wasn't really out of ammo, but I did take some fuel tank damage earlier, so I was running out of fuel, so I was forced to land. But, and also my plane was overheating at this point. It seems to really still seems to struggle with overheating, so wepping is kind of out of the question, and 100% throttle seems like it's out of the question. To just leave it going. I had to back it off several times during this battle. And I'm going to speed it up for this landing process because it did take a little bit. I almost didn't make it, but put it down perfectly. Repair goes by pretty quick. These poor guys, they did a lot of work, but they just didn't get there quick enough. So I'm going to keep it at 4 times speed and wait till I uncover anybody. I was asking them if they knew because I was going to pop a blind hunt, but it didn't actually come up that way. I figured I'd give it some time and get some altitude before I even considered it to make sure that I was going to have a crack at the guy. I mean, I did just see him not too long before this, right over here. I was thinking he was probably still in the area. I had no idea, but he actually broke away from these guys and side climbed to get more altitude. Luckily for me, he's right there, and he dove on Snoop. So he blew all of his energy, and then, um, continued to maneuver. So he was going to be low and slow. He was talking a lot of smack, I think, in chat. Unfortunately, it doesn't show you chat, so in replays. So, it was all in Russian, so I really didn't think I was going to have a shot here. But Snoop broke his wing or something. And for some reason, he follows him to the ground, I guess trying to get last shots so that it looked like maybe he could get the kill. And I thought Bear's here had him for sure. But I guess he messed up his approach. And I'm going to slow it down here a little bit. See if we can get a cinematic here. So he's kind of slow, and I notice he turns away from me, and this is again a perfect lineup. I start shooting, and I'm matching his wings. Really important to match wings when you line up for a kill. And then, man, I pepper him there. I smack him there. There's another hit. And I nab that kill. Good feeling, good game to start off the day. Kind of feeling like playing some more. Not quite sure if I'm going to though. Love that exhaust flame. Pop smoke. All the poor people that didn't get many kills. I felt bad because I got all the kills. But that's kind of just how the game goes. A lot of times I'm on that other side with no kills. So just a beautiful cinematic to a beautiful end with a beautiful plane. And I unlocked my first camouflage. Look at that. It says 76th FS USA AF. Major Edward F. Rector, commanding officer of the 76th Fighter Squadron, 23rd Fighter Group, Quelin, China, July 1942. So this was one of the Flying Tigers captains. So now I have a little bit more incentive to fly it. And I guess this is the top one. You gotta get 250 kills to get this checker tail shark. I'm surprised I haven't unlocked this. I like that one though. This is really nice. Why doesn't mine look like that? Why does mine have the stars instead of the... I'm gonna have to read up on that. This one's okay. I don't really like that. Well, these are the British ones, man. I guess it's those that served in... Oh wow, that looks cool. This is, I guess, Australians. The British assisted Pacific campaign. It's usually these blue circles, I think. Yeah, Royal New Zealand Air Force. Okay. I really like that one. Oh, that looks really cool too. The stripes. Okay, now this is the RAF. New Guinea. This will be to finish it. This is a very famous one. I think they actually still have one pan like this that flies air shows. I have to get 250 kills. This is 230. 190 for this one. I could see it is doable for sure. How did I get the... Oh, okay, the 30, and then this is the 50. Yoga and the gay. That's odd, isn't it? Okay, well, I do appreciate you watching this replay, and good luck in the skies.